Bring us in. What's up, guys? Welcome to what episode is this? I should have fucking thought of that. 47.
Episode 69.
Might as well be. Okay, episode 69 of Dank Shrine. With me is Nathanias, who, if you didn't know this, he has a voice pack. You can actually buy Nate's voice in the game, and you can hear him in your ears constantly. Like, not only can you just watch his stream, but you can hear him too. All the time. Like, it could be 24/7 Nate. Like, how amazing would that be to have just 24/7 Nate in your face?
What more can you want?
I don't think I could want really anything else besides just Tendy's in bed, right? Like, nothing else
No,
could be better.
it's hard to beat that.
I don't know. Well, so let's just start with that, since that's honestly a pretty cool thing. And it kind of came, at least for me, it kind of came out of left field. I don't think you left any hints about it. Did you hint about it at all?
It's the best thing is you just make jokes about it, right? Like
Yeah.
people ask me because Tastosis obviously had theirs and Total Biscuit had theirs. When Total Biscuit did his, I hadn't been contacted yet about it.
Okay.
But I mean, I just had, even after I recorded it, you just say the same thing because it's kind of like hiding in just the normal spam of it, because people have been asking me forever. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously I would like to, but man, it'd be really cool, but probably not going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's just super cool because I don't know, obviously you're one of the hardest working dudes in StarCraft, right? Like, you put in so much work into the scene and into your own content that I'm glad that you were rewarded with basically being immortalized in the game.
That's the coolest part. Yeah, for sure. That was the best part, hands down. I'm like, oh man, someone could install this game 5 years from now. I could be in another dimension. I could be like, fuck, man. I could dive and there'll be something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the coolest part.
When they had contacted you to come down and hey, we want you to come down to record the voice pack, were you kind of oh yeah, okay, you or did you or did it come out of left field for you too, when they asked you, were you kind of oh shit, this is happening?
I was just chilling. I just got an email one day from the team, whichever team it was. It wasn't done by the normal dev team.
Right.
They have their own unit for this sort of thing, and they're like, hey, we wanted to know if these terms would be cool for you to make an announcer pack for StarCraft 2, and if you'd be interested in doing something like this. So obviously I was like, yeah, of course. Right. So basically the way that doing the whole announcer pack thing happened was I got that email, and obviously I replied that I wanted to do it.
For sure.
And they were like, okay, well, here's a blank script with all the default lines for the announcers. It was basically just I don't know, it's something like 70 to 100 lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just every single thing in the game that you could possibly do. So it was, and they were like, okay, well, you can just put down whatever you want, and then you tell us if you think and then we'll tell you if there's anything that we can't use,
right,
or that we need you to do, or if there's any changes that we want you to make. So I basically just did that. I sent in my first review, and they were like, I actually got everything in.
Yeah.
There was the only issues they had with the script that I gave them, because it took me 3 weeks to get back to them once it happened, because I basically was just asking myself, what would I actually want to put in this? And it's been a funny thing, because I've got a lot of people that have asked me, oh, why isn't there an I don't know, Kev, or a yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it was the immortalized part. I'm like, which parts of my personality do I want cemented into StarCraft forever, right?
Right.
So for me, that was the big thing. And then once we had that all sorted out, they were like, all right, we booked you at a studio, and I live in North Hollywood, which is down the street from Universal, and I went to Universal to record the voice pack, and it was a super awesome experience. Yeah, I went there. I worked with there was a Blizzard employee who is in charge of voice, and there was a Blizzard employee who is in charge of the projects overall, and we had another guy on the story team for StarCraft to make sure that we didn't say anything that was not fitting in with the game.
Oh, okay.
So Yeah, it was that, and that was basically it. It was really, really fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, that is dope, dude. Like not only did you get like immortalized in the game, but you also got to go down to like Universal and like basically record. I mean, that in itself is an experience that like not a lot of people are gonna get in life anyway.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like going into like the glass door room where you could see everything, and we had like really nice headphones. They had a really sick mic, and like the funny thing was they do this thing where apparently for like World of Warcraft or StarCraft or what, like any actual game character, this makes sense. But they had a picture up on a screen, and they're like, well, normally we just have this here with a picture of the character that they're trying to play to help them,
visualize like the voice or something.
Yeah, like visualize who they are when they're doing that. But because I was being myself, it was just a picture of me. Yes. It was a really bad picture of me. Like it was like from when I was like when I weighed a lot more and stuff, and I had really terrible hair. I'm like, oh my god,
that's the Nate they wanted.
They're I was like, yeah.
That's like a trip though, dude. Like just being able to do that whole thing. Like I'm like, not only is it awesome, but I'm just happy for you as well. Just like I said, just being able to be like cemented and stuff like in like history, like not, you say 5 years, but here's what I'm looking forward to is like when I'm 80 and we're having LAN like at the nursing home and I've still got young Nate's voice in my ears. Like that's what I'm looking forward to.
Will StarCraft 2 finally get LAN 80 years from now though?
StarCraft 3 will, and you'll get a StarCraft 3. There'll be a carryover voice pack.
As long as it carries over, I'm down for that. I'll record the extra lines if they add the Xel'Naga race or some shit.
But for real, like the whole thing was just super cool. Are there any voice lines that you wish you did do different or anything like that?
I think I hadn't realized until I was playing with it on my own stream. There's 2 lines that are kind of similar that it just didn't cross my mind because when I was writing it, they were not even close to each other in like the 5 pages of lines I had to do. But I don't know. I think I have a line where it's like minerals don't grow on trees or something. But then I was also like, I said it in a very similar tone to the way I said a different one, which was like supply depots don't build themselves. I was like, it's like those 2 kind of sound the same. That's about as nitpicky as I could get on it.
Gotcha.
I was actually really happy with how it came out. I think the feedback's been really good. I think the lines, I specifically tried to avoid the annoying lines repeating a lot. So like that's why like the mineral lines, the supply depot lines, the gas lines, the ones that you'll hear the most just spamming and doing stuff, those ones should be at least compared to like, my comparison would be like Tastosis. Like there's no we mined 8 minerals back in the day thing.
Yeah.
So I was going for a little bit more of like just a general Nathanias voice pack with some humor in it, on some of the more rare lines.
Yeah, no, like I said, I personally think it came out amazing, and yeah, from what I've seen from feedback is also been great. That everyone's been enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know, do you think the final move for it, like if they're like, okay, like we've recorded everyone we want to record, now for the last one they'll like insert your own, like they'll let you like insert your own audio files into the game, like you could record your own voice if you wanted to, or I could like mix in some lines.
I mean, in a weird way, it's like that kind of opens them up to piracy, though. In a weird
yeah.
What if someone? So now that I'm in the game, and now that people can pay for my voice, now in my mind, as soon as you say that, I'm like, well, what if someone just downloaded all my files separately or pulled them from the editor and put them in there, and then when I lose sales, right?
Yeah. So. Or what if they took it all out, strung it together, and then they were making prank calls with your voice?
That's true. You can do that. People have already sent me like dumps of it because I wanted the files myself. Like you can just pull them out of the editor and then you just boot up Skype. You have a soundboard, Someone's like, "Welcome to Domino's." Noise. It's like, what can I get you? Noise. You just do that.
Oh my god, dude, that would be. I would love to. That's like a shitty thing from like the early 2000s on YouTube, like the prank calls, right? Soundboard. But I would love to hear that with your voice. That would be hilarious. So obviously you had just come back from Sweden as well, from WCS Summer, or what is it? Is it Jönköping?
WCS Jönköping.
Jönköping.
We're supposed to call it.
Jönköping.
Yeah.
Got it. What was it like just being in Sweden? Because you've been there once before, correct?
I've been to Sweden a lot. Okay. I don't know. For me, it was kind of like it was just like another trip. Jönköping is unique in that there's not really a big airport there. So you have to we fly in through Gothenburg, which is like an hour and a half drive away. And then we shuttle over. And it's very nice. It's off of the second biggest lake in Sweden. The weather is amazing. It was like 22, 23 degrees the entire time we were there, which was awesome. Celsius, so like mid 70s. So it's basically like LA weather, actually. And then the sun sets at 11 p.m.
Damn.
And rises at 3 a.m. So it's just sunshine, and it was great. Sweden's awesome. Tap water's amazing. Women are gorgeous. What else do you need? Good tap water and good women.
Two things in life, man. That LA's got one, right?
Sometimes.
Not even all the time.
Not even.
Well, I mean, obviously, you were the host, and I think you did a really nice job hosting the tournament. Overall, the games were really well played. An American won again. Neve second time. Obviously won Austin. We were there for that, and then you were out there. To watch him win a second time. At the beginning, were you kind of were you kind of favoring Neeb already?
I'm a huge Neeb fanboy. I think and I don't know what kind of sports you follow, but the way I like to look at it is like I am a fan of like places where I'm from. I was born in New York City. I love the New York Jets. They don't always win. In fact, they almost never win, right? They're a terrible team. But you got to cheer for those guys for the moments when they do finally do something, if they ever do in my case. But usually it's not that bad. So for me, I kind of like I put a lot of my fanboyism into Neeb a while ago, and he just didn't really deliver on it until like last year, and that was when I took more than enough liberty to circle jerk about how I was a Neeb fan before he got good. But for me, it's just a part of the process. Like I was already cheering for him on the way in. It was a really good tournament. I was super stoked that he won.
Right. Well, not only are you a big fan of him, but you've also been teammates with him, like during Nation Wars. So you've not only had the opportunity to be a fan, but to play with, your idol.
I mean, that's one way to put it. It was more like, hey guys, this is the first map. Do one of you want it, or do you want me to tank it? And then it was usually they were like, okay, you play the first game so that you can just eat this map. Or like in the one match when I didn't start, and some people were like, why isn't Nate going out first? It was like Neeb actually said he's like I want to play this map. This is the first map, I want to play it. So that was the team interaction. There was no Team USA boot camp, sadly, at Washington D.C.
Maybe next time, right?
I'd be down for it.
See, and you got a little bit of guff for that, but I thought you actually played pretty decently. You had almost beat Bly. So, like, I thought you were doing actually pretty decent. I was like
when I go back and watch those games, man, some people give me shit about it all the time. But the thing is, I actually, like, if you had, at the height of those games for me, replaced me with, like, any pro Terran player, they probably could have finished the game at that point.
Yeah.
But there's something about, I don't know, as soon as I thought that I might be able to win, like, the frame changes. It's like, well, I go into it, I'm not supposed to win, just have fun. And then at some point, the possibility of winning is there. Yeah. And once that hits you, it's like, but I'm not supposed to. And then it's like, well, you know what? I've never played on a big stage or, been a pro. So for me, like, that's when my perspective shifts into like, oh my God, I can't lose this game. And that's, man, like, if you watch the game, you can just see where I just do nothing. I'm like, I freeze. I fucking froze. I'm like trying to move around. I'm like, I can't do this. And then, yeah.
It's like that point when like your brain, like you're thinking it, but your hands can't process. You're like, oh fuck, do things. Like, what do you do?
That feeling, like takes over your fucking head. You're just like, I guess that's what happens to a lot of pros when they go play on a stage for the first time, because they're used to it in online tournaments.
Right.
But I wasn't even used to it in online tournaments. I'm like, oh my God, there's like 15,000 people watching me shit on Bly with battle cruisers, and then I just like, that was it. Like I was rigid as a board. I couldn't do anything. It was an awesome feeling, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, there's the moment of terror when I realized that I was going to get trash for throwing that game the way that I did forever. But at the same time, I'm like, man, that is one hell of a feeling.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, like, no publicity is bad publicity, though. I'm sure you had, like, spikes in stream attendance right after that too, even if people were in there to to say shit.
Yeah, that was during a very good point, I think, for StarCraft streaming, just with how everything was going after patch 3.8, you know.
Yeah.
The fact that you were seeing people build battle cruisers. My boy Gumiho in fucking included.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's the next thing we'll talk about. So obviously, you know, Sweden was dope. Neeb won, so great, and another American win. Thank you. Unfortunately, did not qualify for GSL. He tanked versus Hurricane, but we did get more Americans in. Well, no, we didn't. I lied. We have foreigners, and we don't have any Americans in.
Well, I count Canadians and Mexicans
North
as
Americans.
North America, right?
Yeah.
So
it's the same thing.
You gotta take what you can get.
Exactly. So we get to Scarlet, in control. Yeah, right. Sorry, Jeff. No regret, and then a laser for the foreigners, and then was there one more? Oh, major.
Looking for now. Yeah, I think major.
Major. Yeah. So there's 4 of them, so it's awesome. And there was actually a thread on Reddit that was interesting that people were complaining like, "Oh, all these foreigners are taking over GSL." It's like, yeah, but if they're winning, then obviously the Koreans that are losing to them are not as good then. Oh, and Time. That's right. Forgot the Chinese boy.
Yeah. Don't
want to forget Time. That's cool, dude, to have a Chinese player in there as well. But no, it's just I don't know. Like if they're good enough to qualify, then they're good enough to be there. You know, they're good enough to be the show. If they can make it out there and they can qualify, then they deserve to be there. 100.
Yeah. Oh, it is super awesome to see that. And the thing is, people can argue all they want. It's like, yeah, the scene is smaller. Yeah, the amount of money and opportunity for these guys to compete is a bit lower. Maybe it's not the same race to the top that it used to be, but it doesn't diminish the fact that they still went over there and they did it. Would have been cool if we could have done it like 3 or 4 years ago, but it's no easy feat. It's not like oh yeah, it got a couple percentage points easier because, you know, maybe there's not as many top Koreans playing anymore. But still, how often have we seen those people just slaughter, you know, foreigners in situations like this? So I was pretty excited to hear that. I was really surprised too. I didn't actually think that was going to happen.
I mean, I kind of figured Major had a good shot of getting in. I didn't actually get the chance to like look at their brackets prior, but I was like, yeah, Major's been playing really good. Like I kind of expected him to be able to get in. Same with Scarlet. No offense to Jake, I didn't think he would get in, but that's cool that he did.
He's a cheeser, man.
Right.
He's like it's the truth. He's a dirty cheeser, but he's damn good at cheesing, though, isn't he? Man.
I mean, it's not you know, it's not about how you play. It's just about how you win. And if you can win doing that, then by all means, just keep doing it. I'm a firm believer in that a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get it.
Amen.
So
when it counts.
Yeah, exactly. And then same with the laser. It's like, well, you know, he did really well at BlizzCon, so like, it's not super surprising to see him make it in. I'm definitely happy to see him make it in.
Well, the cool thing about a laser in this case, I was literally about to say the name because what I'm about to say is it's nice for a laser because a lot of that spotlight's kind of shifted off of him a bit. Like everybody knows that he's still really good, but the only European Zerg that like Jönköping, for example, everyone just talked about Cyril the whole time, right? And how good he is, how far he's come, and how well he's doing. So I was happy that a laser got in there because that reminds me of like, yeah, he's right up there. He's right up there with Cyril. He's extremely fucking good.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, I think people are so quick to forget, you know, past results when it comes to things like that. Like they're so quick to forget that, you know, he beat Solar at BlizzCon and stuff. So, but you know, the foreigners representing, so I'll be cheering for all the foreigners in GSL. And then speaking of GSL, obviously we just had the finals between Gumiho and Sue, and man,
dude,
poor
great.
Sue. I feel bad for the guy, right? Like 6-time now, second place. I mean, I don't feel that bad. Like he's still got a lot of money, right? And he's still really good.
Well, that was one tragic story that so far still is tragic. But as a fan of Gumiho, my boy, like, if anybody that watches my stream knows that all my builds I took from him just because I don't know. Gumiho's my absolute favorite player to watch. He's super innovative. He does crazy shit and he makes it work. And now I can say he's made his crazy shit work all the way to a GSL championship, which you've never seen Gumiho play in the finals of this, let alone win and taking home his first GSL like that is with that epic series that it was. Because you ask anybody, people have this mentality where they say, oh, there's only one way to play the game, right? Like, oh, you should only ever play bio, or oh, mech is boring. But outside of that first game, which was still really crazy, by the way, and not, in my opinion, a boring game at all. It wasn't about like this, turtle never attack, boring, style. It was a very active, out on the map, and that's one of the reasons why I like Umiho's play. As it's the kind of way that I like to play. Is I like to play with mech units, but I like to constantly harass with Hellions, make big pushes on the ground when possible, and take opportunities where they come. So that was such a cool final. Because if it was any other Terran, it would have looked very different. You would have had bio every game, and it would have looked like any other big TVZ matchup. But Gumiho made that really special, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Gumiho, obviously, like, one of the dudes who's been around, since almost from the beginning. I think the farthest he ever got prior to this was round of 4. I think was his best finish prior to this.
I don't think he's ever been in a final.
No, never in a final. But to get there, and what do I want to know your opinion on this, because I'm a firm believer that part of him kicking ass is not only just because of how much work he's put in, but also the fact that he's playing for Psystorm now. I think that having having someone to play for, right, like having a team backing you. I believe that affects your mindset, right? And he played harder, he practiced harder, not only for himself but for the team.
Yeah, having an organization that's able to give you a bit of backing when you put time into stuff like that is, I would say, a big deal. Obviously, I don't know the details of his relationship. It's always weird because there are a lot of teams. Having worked behind the scenes for so long, there are a lot of times like foreign teams like pick up a Korean player, and it's kind of like it's like a you scratch my back, I scratch your back type thing, where there's not like a huge thing going on as far as financial support goes or big expectations, right? It's not like Gumiho's being forced to stream, for example. So I'd hope, I would think that this is a good motivator. The Psystorm guys are really active. I mean, honestly, they're like the only real organization left that's still pushing stuff on the low end, right? It's like Psystorm and Team Liquid in StarCraft now.
Yeah, like OSC Root, like to some extent, but they're even teamed up with Psystorm for like a lot of stuff, like for their team league and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
So
enjoy the stream. Keep it up.
Thanks for that $5 donation, Lightning. Appreciate it. My donation
that's
gift.
A great donation gift. I like it.
Thank you. I didn't ask Jeff if I could use it, but I'm sure he'd be okay with it.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that have used that GIF all over the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm using it for the greater good.
The greater good.
Yes. But yeah, no, obviously, like I said, just Gumiho, just an amazing dude. The one thing I am disappointed in is he told me he's not going to do an interview for 2 reasons. For one, his home computer, right, is like in his family's like living room that he plays from, and he feels very so he plays like in the living room, and he feels like very awkward, like having like camera on with like people walking back and forth, and his parents are like, don't like, because that's when he streams, that's why he never uses a camera. And the second reason is the last time I did do an interview with him, we did it from his cell phone, and it was like super fucking janky. And he's like, no, like I can't be a champion and have like a really shitty interview. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. I get where you're coming from. So I wish I could interview him again about the win, but I don't know. Maybe if I can make out at the BlizzCon, I can sneak one in.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I did not.
Yeah, isn't that weird though? Like it's like in like I could just see it like his mom's like doing stuff behind him and stuff, and he's just like, oh shit, like like super focused. Like I could never make that work.
Yeah. When I used to stream from home, that's how it was. Like my dad would just walk by and troll, or like my brother would just come by and troll. Just insane.
Yeah. So great games. What do we got coming up? We have Valencia coming up. You are attending, correct? Do you know that yet?
Valencia? Mm-hmm. Not officially, but yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. I thought someone had told me even like that you had bought like a ticket or something. So I was like, okay, well he's probably going then.
I'm going. It's not announced yet.
Yeah, he's going though. So there you go, guys. There's your
my policy is if they don't put an announcement out 2 weeks in advance, I'm just gonna say it because people need to know that I'm not gonna be here on Twitch because this is also my job,
Right. They'll throw a shit fit, right? They'll be like, "Where's Nate?" Like, I didn't know. Like, oh man, you don't follow me on Twitter and you're not in the Discord.
Well, the thing is, I've also been able to build with my stream now a decent sized following that doesn't actually do StarCraft because I play so many games now.
Right.
So like now I have to be more conscious of that. Like before, I only streamed StarCraft. Everybody was into it. So if there was an announcement, they all saw it just because they followed StarCraft and all that jazz. But something I have to be a little bit more mindful of these days. I need to be able to say, a couple weeks in advance, guys, there's going to be 6 days where I don't stream. I don't want to hurt myself. I'm not jumping off a cliff,
Right.
I'm not going into the Speed Force until season 4, anything crazy like that. So
no, for sure. And that's the next thing I honestly wanted to talk to you about was just the was your stream in general now, because now you said many a time that you're ready to branch out. You want to be a variety streamer. StarCraft is super fun, but there's just more games you want to be able to play and enjoy with the people that watch, right?
Yeah.
And I know, so I'm a fan, obviously of yours. I subbed to your stream on my alternate account, so that's why you don't know about it. But I do give you my money.
Wow!
It's just on an alternate account because I have like my Amazon linked up to like an old Twitch account. And so
okay.
I just go in there and I hit the donate through that one, but then I come back in and chat as Dank Shrine. But no, when I first started really, really following like your other streaming stuff was when you were doing Persona 5, right? Like on the weekends when you were doing, when you were going hard on that. And
I'm so sad that I'm done with that game. By the way, it's so good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, you actually really got me into it because like one day I was like bored and I was like, "There's like nothing on," and you were streaming and I was like, "What's Nate playing?" He's like, It was Persona 5, and I was like, "What is this?" And like within 20 minutes, I was hooked. And then before I knew it was like 4 hours later, I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm still watching!" Like I had like a realization. I was like that I was just hooked, and I was still watching it. And I was like, "I've done nothing for like 4 hours." Like holy shit. So, but not only was that a great game, but like just your like commentary with it and stuff. I found it just to be super, super interesting. So
that's the goal. That's the thing is getting obviously the key to success in being able to do more than just one thing and avoid being stuck in that niche where the only people that care are people that are also interested in that is trying to, I guess, do content that allows me to advertise myself, I guess. Because before it was like trying to sell my gameplay, trying to sell my commentary and my educational side for like StarCraft, and now it's about just straight up selling me, like just Nathan, and it's been really fun. Anybody that's watched my stream regularly knows that like the last 2 months have been the best months of streaming I've probably had in years, honestly. Like it's gotten so much better, which is funny because I still have, we all still have like days where we're not quite as much there, or like I'll occasionally talk about how I fucking hate oracles,
right.
But then the thing is, it's very different than, well, most people know how much I used to rage. So I'm glad those days are gone, and I've made it to a good place where I'm able to still play StarCraft, and I'm enjoying it a lot more now that the voice pack is out. I was actually really on edge about it for a while. I was a bit more nervous playing StarCraft before it came out because I was like, oh my god, like what if people think it sucks or something like that. But since it's came out, it's made things a bit better, and I think that the overall stream content has improved enough to the point where I've got a lot of people telling me that they prefer to watch me do other stuff more now, even though they've been watching for 2+ years, right? So
yeah, guys, if you didn't know, there is a voice pack, so you should get online and buy that right now. So you can hear Nate.
I'm in the game. I'm in the fucking game, man.
Incredible. And so then now more recently, you've really been hitting the PUBG, right? You've been just digging, and as have I, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit hooked too. I've been a little lax with my editing and stuff. When I should be doing that, I've been playing some PUBG. So. But I mean, I was even watching you even before, obviously, and you ended the stream with a sick winner chicken dinner.
I literally won a game right before I came to do this, which was, it's so crazy. That's the thing about that game that like really gets you, is once you get that win, you realize you will die so many times early or whatever, or super randomly, and then you just play a game. You're like, all right, guys, one more game, and then the next thing you fucking know, you've got 7 kills. You're in the middle of a field, lighting shit up, and it's a good thrill.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you said something. You're like the good moments in that game heavily outweigh the bad, right? Like if you get like a bad drop and you get killed right away, you're like fuck it. But then in the next round, you're like 3 kills in, and you're like almost dead, and you hit someone. Like you're like, oh well, that just made it worth it right there.
Yeah.
There's
another weird psychological aspect to it where if you play StarCraft, you get games so fast and the game ramps up so quickly. You can actually get like 5 or 6 really shitty losses in a row very quickly in StarCraft. And they're usually extremely brutal. Mm-hmm. And one thing I like about the Battle Royale games is the game itself, like the time of like you queue up, you get put in this lobby that lasts for like 2 minutes, and then you have to jump down, and usually you have enough time spaced out so that even if you are like having like a losing streak, you get so much time where there's slow stuff that you can talk to your chat or just the spacing between those losses, which are usually still ridiculous. Even if you die super fast, it's like something funny like getting punched in the head.
Right.
So it doesn't give anywhere near the same amount of tilt factor, which obviously I don't like getting tilted. Right.
No, and like I said, you're getting pretty good, and yet you actually just recently attended like an event for it, correct? There was like a meetup for it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It was just some post E3. They must have like a bunch of people that were like streaming it and doing it. I got to meet some cool people. I met the PlayerUnknown guy. He was really cool.
Okay.
He's just like a normal random nerd, to be honest. Like, and I mean that in a compliment way.
Yeah.
Like, dude doesn't seem like he has a stick up his ass or anything. I love what those guys are doing. They've got a really cool thing going on. I didn't get to see the tournament at DreamHack though, because of the hosting thing. Mm-hmm. So whenever we're casting, we have like these sheets laid out, so you can see like, oh, okay, for this match, he's on the desk, he's casting, and then these 2 people are on break. So you just know that you have a long time before you have to do anything.
Right.
That's usually your only chance when you're at these events to leave the backstage area, because if there's technical difficulty or anything else, you need to be available to go on. But as a host, I was on for every segment, so you never know if the game ends really fast, you need to be able to be there to do the segment. So I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was really, really cool as well. The PUBG DreamHack tournament.
What do you think of that being like in an esport format? Like, do you think that this is like a game that's like viable as an esport?
Definitely. If is it competitive? Is there a way for people to watch it? Mm-hmm. And is it easily digestible? I think those 3 questions are pretty easy yeses. If you've seen, like, there's some people that cast on their stream a bit. Mm-hmm. It's super watchable. Like, the spectator interface is clunky, but it's still early access. It's something that they're working on. They have the ability to do free cam and player perspective and first person, which are the only 2 things. Like, as the lag and stuff gets better with like first person, for example, that's really all you need. And then you just need maybe a couple observers that are constantly watching, a really good technical director for switching like between where things are happening.
Sure.
But then what sold me on that was the production of the CW tournament that they did for H1Z1, which doesn't even have an observer interface, at least at the time that they did it. I heard they added one. But like H1Z1 had a really decent. It wasn't done live, but so like they were able to cut up the best parts in between commercial breaks. But it was a really amazing production. And I think it showed the way that you want to do it. Like they have this overview, this map graphic that they have, a really nice map graphic where they can kind of see where the hot spots are, and they just kind of like zoom in on that, and then it switches to the player's perspective that's in that area. And then having like an actual free cam to literally like come down over an area and see all the action happening in the game from above, and then focus in as the fights get really intense. Like the potential is there for sure.
Sure.
And it's a very easy thing to grasp. Like if you want to explain it to someone who's never watched it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like Hunger Games. It's like 100 people drop down, last man standing wins. Like it's the easiest, one of the easiest things to explain. Yeah. Which I think is another really important part of like why games like CSGO are so big. Like Counter-Strike, shoot the other guy, right? If you don't know anything about games, it is as simple as that. Right.
As far as the different play modes, because really I could see any of those play modes being competitive. I could see squad being competitive. I could see duels being competitive, and just solo being competitive. But do you think like there would be like a certain one? Like, do you think they would focus more on squad being like the?
I think it's going to be all over. Like, I think the thing is, people like the personalities that are in the scene, which is one of the reasons why it's like There was people circle jerking that it was over League of Legends earlier. It is the number 2 game right now on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And the personalities, people that play it, there's really, really good players that come from CSGO backgrounds, like ninjas from Halo. A lot of the big personalities that usually get paid to play new games are still playing it.
Right.
So it has everything that it needs to build like a really sustainable community over time. Like there are people that are staying with it. I think that opens it up for squad play. I think duo stuff with like streamers and pros and solos. Because I personally, I find all the modes fun. Like I love squadding up. I love playing duos, and I love playing solos. Like I would watch anything if it had players I was interested in, or if it was produced properly.
Yeah, I kind of get in like these moods, right, where like, okay, like I want to play solo, but if I'm not doing well, like then I'll queue like in squad, just as a single, and just get like thrown in with some people, change it up, because it's always still fun. There's obviously still like a lot to do in general. Yeah. What are some things you think that they could implement to improve right now? Like I heard you talking about earlier, like they're going to be implementing like vaulting.
Yeah. As far as like improving the game overall.
Yeah.
Esport features.
No, just in general, like your personal preferences, basically.
I wasn't even thinking about the vaulting thing when they announced it, but I like it more for the crazy fights that happen when people land in cities and stuff, like being able to maneuver a bit more. But the biggest thing that they have to fix, I actually really like the game as it is. I'm glad they're adding more stuff, but if they told me that there would be no new content for like 2 months and they were going to fix all the server issues,
right?
I would rather that.
Right, you wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, but their art team that makes the new guns and all that aren't on the same team as the people that are trying to fix the servers, right? So I'm just glad that they're continuing to add stuff. Man, when I try to think of new stuff I would want, it's really hard, and I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like the fact that I can't immediately think of something I would want added. I mean, everybody has their own opinions, I guess, but if the game was just snappier and more responsive, right, that would be. There's nothing that I think would help it more right now, at least.
Right. Like one of the things I think is kind of weird is like when you tab right for your inventory to pick up stuff, that's faster than actually like hitting F. Like that seems like a little wonky.
Fixing stuff like that is important, and I understand like there's some like weird. There's someone on their animations or art team that's like, hey, man, we motion capped a guy leaning down to pick shit up. We want that animation in the game. But then when it doesn't work half the time because the animation is tied to the pickup, which means it's influenced by the lag, it's like, well, there you go. Now you have a tech that's literally just opening tab, dragging, and closing tab as fast as you possibly can.
Right. And the other, I don't know, what do you think about this? It seems to me that if you don't get like a scope and like early enough, you're pretty much fucked. Like if you can't find a scope, you're kind of fucked.
I mean, I stopped having that issue when I stopped trying to land in bad areas, and I think the patch, one of the patches like a month ago or a month and a half now, was that they forced the same amount of grass no matter what your graphics settings are. Okay. So you have to, like there's always enough foliage that you can usually go prone if you don't have a scope and someone shoots at you, and you're basically invisible at that point if they're not like way up above you. But I haven't seen it as much of a problem just because the best way to play the game, in my opinion, is to land somewhere where shit is going down and fight your way out and then play slow. And if you do that in the right area, you're almost always going to find either a vehicle or a scope. But that problem disappeared for me as I played more aggressively. So so
maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm just playing too passively. I'm not good like you though. I'm not good.
I only land in the cities. That's what you gotta do, man. You got trial by fire. I was bad at first too, and then I landed in the military base like so many times, fist fighting, pan whacking, and eventually I went from dying every time to dying occasionally. I still die a lot, but more often than not these days I'm able to at least kill a couple of the people before someone offs me because I just get so much practice in those insane early situations. Right.
What's okay, first question for this then is what's your best kill streak so far?
I think it's like I had it up in the game. My best kill streak What do you mean, like within a short period of time, or
No.
over a whole game?
Yeah, overall game, just one game. Like, what was your best?
I think my best was 11. I got it the other day. I was playing duos. I got 11 kills. I think I finished second place that game. I was very sad.
Yeah. This is the only story I'll tell about my PUBG experience, but I had a great one where I queued in solo, or I queued in squads today. My whole team dropped before the game started, so I had to go in by myself. I got a vehicle like right away, and all I found was a shotgun. But I landed like in the city, right? But I was kind of like, oh, like I'm by myself, like things aren't looking good. But I didn't die, well, which is kind of what I was thinking. I was like, fuck, I'll probably just die, so I'll just land in the city, whatever. But I didn't die, so I grabbed a vehicle. I got out of town, like went into the middle, and I hid like in one of like the little like 2x2 huts, basically, right?
Right.
Like 5 minutes later into the game, like it's closing in. A squad of 4. Like it's coming up. One tries to come in, I kill him. Another one comes around the corner, he tries to get in, I killed him. The third one comes in, killed him, and then finally like the fourth one, we were kind of like going back and forth, and we kept missing our shots. And then I eventually killed him too. So I wiped out an entire squad alone, and all I had was the shotgun, and I only had like
that's awesome.
I only had like, what is it, like two ammo pickups, so maybe 20 shots, right? And I didn't hit all of them, and it took 2 to finish off the 2 that dropped. Because, you know, like because the squad was still alive. So I was like, how in the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, man. It's those moments that make games really, really sick when you get those. Yeah. Those things make up for all the bad ones. You always gotta ask, does the good outweigh the bad? In games as hectic as that, I say yes. But yeah, like I've had so many games where I die with 1 kill, but that 1 kill was like, it was an epic fist fight. The dude jumped off the building. I jumped off chasing him. I smacked him in the head. He's bleeding on the ground and finish him off. And then someone shoots me. I'm like, you know what?
Worth it.
Still, that was totally worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the coolest kill you've gotten? Like hands down, you're like, what the like the buggy kill does like a 360 barrel roll as you plow into someone like.
Oh, the best one was it's one of my highlights on my reel was I was playing with Rifkin and he was driving a boat. And we were driving to a care package like that had dropped in the water. Okay. And we saw another boat that was heading towards it. And I was like, Rifkin rammed them. Just hold down shift, full speed boost straight into their boat. And then we did it. We crashed right into him. Rifkin instantly died while he went down underwater. Our boat survived. Their boat was on fire. And their other guy, they had 2 guys in it, and I just sprayed into the boat, and it was just the most epic explosion. The body went flying super far off the screen, like crazy Michael Bay shit.
Damn.
Yeah, I would say that was like my coolest ones, because like I don't know, I don't get enough boat action going on. So
right, I feel like the boats are underutilized a little bit. Like I would love to see the boats be a bigger part. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I've had a lot of like really weird ones where I've jump punched, killed somebody in the very start of the game when they had a shotgun and I had nothing. But when you play the way I do, that actually happens surprisingly often because you just roll in the dice, right?
Yeah.
But the boat memes are good.
Okay, here's one thing I just thought would be cool, because you know how like on the bridge they have like the ramps and stuff for like the cars and the motorcycles and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
they need boat ramps.
Yeah, dude, boat ramps, dude. Like I want to be able to like, if you're down like in the water and you're crossing over the bridge to military base, I want a huge boat ramp so I can ramp off that bitch and fucking crash into someone.
Yes, dude, and yes, exactly, it launch your boat as a missile into someone.
That would be amazing, and then redeploy my parachute and float back down gracefully.
Yeah.
Did you ever have did you ever have the problem? Because this is what happens to me right now. Is like if I'm walking around and I'm not expecting it and I get shot, I immediately like get scared because like I have it. Oh yeah. I have it so loud that because like you want to be able to hear everything, right? So then you're like, oh fuck, and like I always like scope in or something or like stand up and like while I'm crouched and just like do I don't know, I do like retarded shit, but like I always just panic.
That's another part of the fun part. It just happens all the time.
Those make for good highlights, though, right? Like the panics part, like oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously PUBG's amazing. You know, you're really good at it. That's like your current game. Are you planning what are your plans for like other games? Like coming in for streaming and stuff. Like not StarCraft.
So I'm doing an event thingy this week with Lenovo, but I guess it's kind of just one-off type stuff.
The Gears of War thing, though, right?
Yeah, but like it's like Gears, Forza, and Halo Wars too. Some charity competition.
Is your brother kind of jealous of that? Because your brother plays.
He's into Gears stuff.
Yeah, he's a Gears guy.
It's like a
Nathanias, right?
Yeah, it's like a somewhat bigger streamer thing that's going on. I got asked to do it by In Control because he's sponsored by them.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like other games I want to play on stream, I haven't. Nothing's caught my eye too much yet. There's like a few things I need to do. Like I need to play Resident Evil 5 again at some point because it's just me. It's just a very me game that I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
And trying to play whatever else is new that comes out that's good. Most of the games I'm looking forward to are actually very far away from release. Resident Evil 2 remake, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night is another one I'm really into, and obviously when they come out with Monster Hunter for the PS4, that shit is going to be insane.
Yeah,
and the Resident Evil 7 DLC, I'm waiting for that too. That got delayed.
Yeah. What? And then so Monster Hunter, because there was like a lot of games, right, that it were announced. I know that you were kind of excited about. But what about? Oh shit! I just had it and then I forgot.
It's all good.
Damn, I don't remember what I was going to say there. I totally lost my thought here. I was trying to pull up because someone donated me to ask you a question. It was, do casters have to sign an NDA with Blizzard?
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's super normal.
I would assume so. Fuck, we were talking about games that you were going to play on stream. Fuck, dude, what was I going to say? I had something interesting and I blew it. I blew my moment.
You asked me if I was gonna play the anime dating simulator games.
Dude, are you the tank dating simulator? I heard that one's pretty good.
For some
Hard Revenge has been pushing that one pretty hard on us. He's like, it's pretty good. He's like, you should play this.
For some sad reason, I know that apparently like there's like some new 18 plus patch for the game. Everyone in my chat for some reason is talking about it. I fucked up by playing Persona. I got people coming in with all sorts of weird stuff now, man.
Yeah, dude, you've just got like the weeb chat right now in the stream.
I opened the portal. It was like Doom. It was like when I played Doom and they opened this portal to hell and it was like you really fucked up this time. But yeah, not my type of game to say the least.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I think you're getting into it a little bit more. You've got like the weeb background, and you've got the Sailor Moon mug. Like I think you're getting a little far into it than you think you are. Gauntlet with the huge host.
I can stop anytime. I can stop anytime.
You say that, but could you? You tell me you could, but like I feel like you'd not be streaming it, and then you'd still be playing it.
I'm not going off the rails. Okay, I'm good.
Fair enough. But let's reiterate. Persona 5 was a great game, guys. You should check that game out. At least watch Nate play it because that was just super entertaining. Did you get the name for your Roomba from that game?
Yeah, my chat voted on it.
And what is it? Yusuke?
They named my Roomba Yusuke after the character in Persona 5 that I disliked the most.
Oh, yeah, got it. Well, because I remember what was the meme a while ago? Your like power had gone out, and everyone was blaming the Roomba. They're like, the Roomba killed it. The Roomba killed the router.
He said I shit talked him too much. He unplugged the power on me just to mess with me.
Dude, the killer Roomba.
I think I'm about to.
Okay. Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Gesundheit. But yeah, like obviously, like you've been playing just like a ton of games. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you about. I was going to ask you about Destiny 2. Since that's coming for Blizzard.
That seems really interesting. It's very weird that's gonna be on
right.
Battle.net.
I thought that too. Because since when is like Bungie in bed with Activision and Blizzard? Like that's like a really weird. Like, hey guys, like how did that deal even come about? I wonder, right? Like someone had to like.
I thought Activision bought Bungie or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's still weird though.
Yeah,
it's still weird, but. That was I think it'll do well. It's better than what like, Ubisoft is doing with this like Uplay stuff where their servers are paper planes, going through thunderstorms. But
dude, that's an awful thing too, because like they like from what I've heard, like a lot of their games are really good, and servers are a lot of the reason why people stop playing them. Because like the servers are garbage.
I think that, in my opinion, is the most important part of. Or maybe they're just on their own and their Activision's just going to publish it through it.
Yeah.
But But that to me is the most important part. If you're a fan of Destiny 2, if you're a fan of Destiny and you were looking forward to Destiny 2, now you know that you're going to be good server-wise.
Right.
For some weird reason, server shit has been a huge problem for game companies in the last like year or two. Like seeing stuff with like Rainbow Six Siege, which is a really good Ubisoft title that was ruined by lack of peer-to-peer, right? Or ruined by the peer-to-peer and lack of good dedicated servers. Like games that should have launched on Steam and didn't. And, you know, like PUBG, for example, biggest issue is netcode. Although they're in like a new territory with 100-player games, so you can almost kind of be like, well, it's not something that everybody normally does. But, man, so many companies like skimp on this stuff. And Ubisoft fucked that up with, what was that sword fighting game? Where they just like didn't have...
For Honor.
For Honor. Yeah, For Honor. Like they just didn't get servers for it, you know, and the thing is, like, I don't find, like, Blizzard's DRM is mostly just, like, always online. Like, it's not intrusive or anything. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to play Destiny 2, you're not going to worry about servers. Right. Blizzard is on the fucking ball when it comes to that stuff. So, in that respect, that makes me more excited and more likely to try a game just because you attach it to that level of quality that you already expect from Blizzard, whose motto is polish, polish, polish. Like, they're all about polish when it comes to everything they release and everything that they do. There's no way that a game gets released, even if it's not made by Blizzard, there's no way a game gets released that's going to use their servers and, like, ends up sucking, like, as far as, like, that shit goes. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, though, but we know that it's going to be dope because it's on PC, so we're going to have, like, really
PC
good graphics.
Master Race
Exactly.
as well, yes.
So
we get to play above 30 FPS, thank God.
Bless. Speaking of bless, thanks Jason for the hosts. Bless the reins. Yeah, dude, there's just so much coming up. You know, you've been doing such a kick-ass job, obviously, with the variety streaming, and you've really started to make it. You know, like I remember, like when you were doing Persona, like the numbers were a little bit lower. I think it was like around 80 and stuff, but it wasn't bad. You know, but it was your real core group that are just Nate fans, right? It doesn't have to be StarCraft. But now, as I'm watching you play pub and stuff, and I think because you got in it at such a good time, right? Like. As it's coming out and getting more popular, like I think today's stream, we were at like 310 right there at the end, or like in the 300s. So I'm like, dude's doing awesome. Like people are loving, the variety. It might be 800 for StarCraft and then 300 for pub, but I think those are still good numbers because they're just going to go up, right? Like because pub's just going to get bigger.
Yeah, well, it's all about doing what you like to do. People want to support, people want to follow people that are pursuing what they like. So for me, that's doing a lot of different stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it's only natural. I'm 24 years old. Just because I've done it, StarCraft for 7 years, doesn't mean it's like literally the only thing that I can do. But I still like to play StarCraft, and the voice pack thing has really gotten me interested again. Gumiho winning, and I feel the Thor buff was also really big for mech because I play very similar style to what Gumiho does. So I think for me personally, I'm very happy with how everything's been going. I think things are moving in the direction that I want them to, and just trying to keep working as hard as I can on being consistent with the schedule and letting people know stuff like I'm going to be gone for 6 days in Spain to cast StarCraft, right?
Yeah. Are you just looking for that trip as well? Because I can't remember who I had.
That trip's so much easier. That trip is much better than Yunshipping. Just to give you an idea, like to go to Yunshipping, I have to fly like 11 hours to. I flew 11 hours to Dusseldorf, which is like southwest Germany. Then I had to wait for the transfer, customs, everything, fly to Berlin, wait, transfer customs and everything, and then fly to Gothenburg, wait, customs. Take the car for an hour and a half to get to Jönköping. And then Jönköping is also such a small city that's like, Pig and I got back from the after party at like 3 a.m. The sun was up, by the way.
Right.
And we were like, yo, fuck, man, let's find a place to get a burger or pizza or something. Literally every single place in the entire city was closed because it's Europe on a normal day. Yeah. Valencia is more of a party city, and it's a very easy trip over there, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Well, then you also have the beach and stuff. Like it's going to be,
the beach is there.
Heart of summer, so like there should be like other just fun stuff to do in general.
Yep. I'm actually really excited for Valencia just because the trip. The trip both ways is about 6 hours shorter for me, and that's only counting the flight time. So I'll be able to just go there, land, and everything will be nice. I'm pretty hyped. GMAC Valencia will be a great event. We've got really good stories this year for WCS. The fact that an American is kicking everyone's ass, I just get to go there and circle jerk him because I'm the only Well, In Control comes to a lot of these events now too, but as the token American guy,
the token American.
Yeah, feels weird to say that, right?
Was there any at Jönköping? Was there any neebing going on? Was there any neebing from the crowd?
Maybe a little. That's definitely something that the Americans came up with on their own. That was a weird one, man.
Like when we were in Austin for that, it was like a deep growl. Because someone thought, they're like, why are they booing him? And it's like, oh, dude, we're not booing.
We all thought the same thing.
We're neebing.
When he was winning games, the first DreamHack Austin, Roddy and I were sitting there like Neeb is winning the game. Why the fuck is everybody being so rude to the opponent? Why are they booing? Why are they booing when Neeb wins? Like, what's going on? And then someone's like, no. They're saying Neeb, not boo.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome though. It was like a thunderous thing, like especially like during the finals there, because the crowd. All the seats were full for the finals. Like everyone was there for the finals. There was a ton of people, and when they were doing that, you could feel it. Like when you were in the audience, you could feel like everyone doing it and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking forward to seeing him crush. I mean, it would be crazy how crazy would it be if he won a third one?
Dude, I just want to see him, like all of his other fans. The sad thing is, I want to see him deliver at BlizzCon.
Right.
That's what I really
That's the
want,
ultimate.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the tough part. That's the tough part about being as good as he is people have those expectations, and as much as you make people happy now, he fell flat on his face at BlizzCon last year.
Yeah.
So it's we've got a really good story for him. The hype is being built up like nothing else. Can he finish strong? That's the magical question.
Right.
There's a lot of people already bringing up that like he tanked out of the GSL qualifier as well. While 4 other players were able to get in, 5 other, including Time.
Right. Do you think if he wins BlizzCon, right, like he's automatically greatest of all time foreigner, hands down? Like he has to be, right?
Well, he's already accomplished.
Right, but there's still argument between like Idra and Hawk just because of like the lineage and stuff and like where they started, right? Because like they're like part of like the old boys club basically because they've been around.
I mean, in terms of like actually accomplishing things on an international stage and relative skill, Neeb is definitely. And I would be like it's comparing different time eras though, right?
For sure,
StarCraft 2 was a much more competitive game in the era of Idra because there were actually thousands of people that wanted to be professional StarCraft players, and now there's maybe a couple hundred. Like maybe you don't have like new people climbing up out of nowhere all the time. Most of the players that are coming up are players that have still actually been playing for 4 or 5 years now. But it's a weird thing.
But even arguing like Snoot, right? Snoot's someone who's been playing consistently at high level since pretty much the beginning as well, right? I mean, he's considered one of the best foreigners, too.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what you gauge it on. Like these 2 tournament wins are really big. There aren't Koreans at these tournaments though. So if we traveled back in time 3 years, what's supposed to happen is Neeb maybe beats, Serral in a quarterfinal, and then he plays against Tasia, and then he gets shit on, and then Tasia goes on to win another $10,000 DreamHack.
Right.
So I think that's why people want to see him take that, because he's like that first glimmer of hope of someone who can be that good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess to just answer the goddamn question, if Neeb wins BlizzCon, I would say, yeah, definitely. Best foreigner.
Yeah. Well, I think
sure.
I think you could already make that argument right now, but I think it just puts all the naysayers to bed, right? Like that just puts it to bed. Like no one else did that. Like he's the first one. He's a Triple Crown winner, whatever, Royal Rotor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's won a major tournament in every region. So I don't know.
He's done it. He's done it at a time where the perceived level of play in StarCraft is not as competitive. Like people are better than they ever were. But there's not as many people trying to climb to the top of that pile. So the victories are still very hard fought. But getting to that position to maybe make those victories, because there's not as much new people coming into it, it makes it a controversial subject to talk about, right? Because
yeah. No, for sure. Well, I don't want to.
Name's my boy.
Yeah,
Name's my boy.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to see him win, and then I want him to let me interview him. Right? He's like, no interviews. Only Blizzard makes me. Sorry, man. I'm like, all right, Alex.
He really doesn't
it's okay.
like that. He really doesn't like the interviews.
I respect it. I do respect it. Like I'm salty because he won't let me. Right? But I respect it. And I mostly respect the fact that I just asked him. Right? I reached out. I was like, hey, Alex, can I do an interview? And he's like, listen, I don't do interviews unless Blizzard forces me. So no, thank you.
Right.
I was like, hey man, appreciate it. That's why I can't if it was someone that just told me no, I might pester them a little bit and try to wear them down. But because he
gave you a good reason. He didn't blow you off.
Nope. Right? He's like, hey, just appreciate what you do. The answer's no. Just don't worry about me. Just I'll keep doing what I'm doing. So I was like, I respect it. Like I can't keep bugging him about it. So.
Yeah.
But okay, a couple quick things here before we let you go. Right. What are any other general plans for the future that you can kind of let us in on? Anything you have planned for the stream that maybe people don't know about just yet?
I'm trying to work on my own production stuff, but I'm literally always doing that. I'm gonna try. I've got most of it set up. Want to do VR streams? It's like a thing I want to add in at some point in the next month. Okay. There's big stuff. Not anything that I'm at liberty to discuss just yet.
Okay, so there's
I've always got something going on that people don't know about, but obviously they're always tied to NDAs.
Right.
So there's always I guess maybe what I'll say is I do have some stuff going on that will be announced at some point, but I'm mostly just going to be playing StarCraft, streaming StarCraft, streaming a lot of StarCraft, streaming a lot of Battlegrounds, and trying to work in some other games on the weekends. I haven't picked another story game to do on weekends yet, just because the travel, and I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on at the moment and everything else. But yeah, just kicking ass. And I'll be, do DreamHack Valencia, DreamHack Montreal. I don't think it's really out of bounds for me to say that I'm official WCS caster for this year. So you should see me at all the events. Hopefully BlizzCon too. That one gets decided after all of that. So I'll try not to say anything racist on stream.
Try. I'll try. Not to, yeah.
Try to hold it in,
Yeah. I just want to see you they pan back to you and you've got an American flag cape on, right? And you're just got a teddy in one hand.
There are some people that are really triggered by shit like that. You would think that being proud of my country is normal, but then I realized it's not as big of a thing in Europe to be nationalist, so you got to be careful.
Okay, so real quick, since you brought up VR, that's pretty interesting. How would you do chat interaction with VR? Is there something where you can see it in the visor?
Idea. Okay. I think there's an overlay thing that came out at some point. I don't know if it works well. We'll see.
That was my biggest question. I'm well, that would be dope, but that's the biggest thing with VR streamers is there's no.
I think it's been solved. I think that part has been solved.
Okay, that is pretty cool. Then I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, looking forward to obviously seeing you cast at some of these large events, Valencia, Montreal. We'll see you again at Montreal. I'll be in attendance with that one. I'm going down to Austin as well, or not Austin, Atlanta, to chill with Graham, I guess. I wasn't gonna go, but then they had responded to my press pass. Yeah, you can come, and I was like, okay, now I feel obligated to go since you gave me the press pass. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm sure there'll still be some people there. That's a frustrating thing with that is I don't know who's all going because it's not an official event.
Yeah, because it's kind of a side-ish type thing. Yeah,
but it's big enough to where I feel everyone anyone who's not already going to Valencia, right?
It's still a pretty big tournament.
Yeah, 5. What did Graham say it's up to? 7.5 now. That's a pretty decent sized prize pool. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'll do some interviews when I'm down there, and do some other random bullshit, APM videos and just some general stuff from the crowd perspective, like I did in Austin and stuff. So just some fun stuff for that. But yeah, man, like I said, you've just been killing it. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you taking the time out, to do this. I know we had to delay it the one time, but your stream was kicking ass. I was like, I don't blame him for wanting to put it off. You were killing it right there. So I was like,
just trying to work hard, do right by everybody. And I wanted to do this. I didn't want you to think I was dodging you or some shit, because I appreciate what you do. There's not enough people that make content for StarCraft, and those people are usually just hit with the old, where's Husky? Dad will come back from 7-Eleven one day, right?
Oh my god, dude! Nothing triggers me more like and you're one that voices that too. Like whenever those threads came up, like that was one of the things. It's like, when is Husky coming back? And you're just like, how about you shut the fuck up and just appreciate who's still here or who we still have? Like, how about that? Huh? How about we forget about Husky? Like, okay, like he's not coming back, man. It's not gonna happen. Like, and I get it. Like that's who like started. Like right with same thing with Day 9. It's like, but guys, like just get over it. Like it's done. Like right. Like let's just appreciate who we have. Let's appreciate Nate. Right. Let's appreciate who we have still.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for you guys. So thanks for Nate again. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate you guys being here. Hit the follow button if you like the show. It's live once a week, every week. We've been doing this almost a full year now. Let's see, it's a year. It'll be 1 year and 2 months. So we got started last August, and then it'll be 1 full year. We've been live every week, sometimes with multiple episodes per week. So we're staying consistent, boys. So if you like StarCraft talk, we have different guests on, English speaking, Korean speakers. You know, we're like the only show that's ever done like personal interviews with like the Korean players. So all right, I'm getting yelled at here. So let's get a GSL 3 prediction right now, even though it's pretty soon.
I don't know. I want Major to win. I'm a Terran fanboy. Gumiho repeat.
Did you know that no one's ever won a back-to-back GSL?
Well, Gumiho can do it now.
Dude, that would be sick. I would love it if he did. That would be super fucking dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, guys, appreciate it. Hit that follow button. If you feel like, donating, that's appreciated right now. The donations are going towards my ticket for Montreal. If you'd like to include like a little something like in that, like, hey, like this, I want this to go towards like an APM video of Neeb. I'll see if I can't, do something like that for you as well. But yeah, that's all we have for tonight. So we'll see you live next week. Follow me on Twitter at DankShrine for updates for our weekly guests. And then you can join our Discord, which I will link right now, for other updates. And then, yeah, this interview will probably be ready for Monday or Tuesday. So I'll have that uploaded for YouTube and then for our podcast. So, yeah. So, again, Nate, thank you. Appreciate you. Keep killing it. Guys, make sure for some reason you're only here for me and you're like, oh, Nathanias, like, what's this? Like, make sure you go to Nate's channel and obviously sub and follow for Nate because he's the real MVP of the North American StarCraft scene right now. So I'm just hiding in the shadows trying to step out, but Nate's leading the charge for us.
Try to set a good example.
You're doing it, man. I'm trying to be successful just like you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a good night.